Hi everyone, I wanted to go over briefly the directions to the scoring rubric for the resume and letter. By recording it, you'll have it to listen to as often as you need to or want to. So in order to go to internship application process, you're going to need an 80% or above in the class. That means you should really strive to get an 80% or better on your resume. The reason I say that is because this resume is a part of one of the larger grades that goes into your overall grade. So when the internship coordinator asks for averages for all of you, this one assignment plays a relatively large impact or has a relatively large impact on your grade. Anybody who has less than an 80% at midterm will not have their name on the list that goes to be sent to the internship coordinator. Although it might be on a list that says these students have less than an 80% at midterm, or whenever the grade process is that she's going to ask for averages. So if you receive less than an 80% on this resume on your first submission to me, you will be required to work with the Career Center to fix whatever issues there are, and you will need proof that you've been there, and they will give you a card, or electronically they may send you a message since everything is done electronically right now. So once you complete that process, you'll take that card and either take a photograph of it or scan it, and you will submit it where you submitted your resume. I look at your resume one time, so if you want feedback from me and you want to get a very good grade, you need to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. You lose points on your resume by not following the directions. So I highly recommend you look at the directions that are found in Blackboard, in the resume lecture, and in the slides for the resume lecture. Those slides have also been recorded and collaborate, so you can go back and look and listen to those. So when I grade your resumes, the way I do it is I first go through to see if you follow directions. I look for business letter format, look for spelling and grammar, look to see if you followed all the formatting. And if you have below an 80% at that point, then I just give you very little feedback on your actual resume. The reason I do that is there's two reasons. The first is if you did not take the time to follow the directions, I'm not going to take 30 minutes of my time to give you extensive feedback on how to fix your resume. The second reason is if you have less than an 80%, you're going to have to go to the Career Center and work with them. So if it's less than 80%, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to spend a tremendous amount of time working on your resume. If you do have an 80% or above, when I do that first scan through to see if you follow directions on formatting and everything, then what happens is I spend at least 30 to 40 minutes on your resume and letter and give you suggestions on how to make it stronger. As I said in class, there is no one right way to do a resume, but there are things that are wrong. So if you look at the scoring points, the only way you cannot pass this resume is if you do not follow directions. When you file applications for places, there are usually very specific directions you have to follow, and if you do not follow them, they just throw away your resume. Electronically, it's just discarded. So I just want to point out to you that of the 50 points, 12 of it is that you follow the directions. Visually appealing, font is the correct size, it's not overcrowded, your letterhead is correct, margins are correct, alignment, and there's examples in the slide of what alignment means. I'm looking for business format. Is it correct? Do you have a heading, a salutation, a closing? Is the punctuation correct? That's 22 points. And spelling and grammar is another 10 points. That's 32 points out of 50 for just spelling, grammar, and following directions. The only way you can get less than an 80% is if you do not do those three things. Or you don't do one of them. For example, if you don't do any of the directions minus 12 points, you start at a 38. So I want to stress very much how important it is that you follow the directions. So the first thing I went over right here, what it says is, just highlight it, I'm looking to see that you follow the directions in the lesson. In the lesson, it states very clearly if there's a difference between someone else telling you something and what I'm telling you, for example, the way things should be aligned, you need to follow what I tell you because I am the one grading it. If I give you a direction to do X and someone else tells you to do Y and you do Y, you will lose points because things have to be set up a very specific way. The next thing is you're going to need to find out business letter format. There are formal business letters and casual business letters. Because we are in a more formalized or more conservative field, you need to use the most conservative business letter format that you find. Simply Google business letter format. That's all you have to do. And it tells you exactly how to set it up. Then in the lesson, it tells you very specifically how many paragraphs to have and what should be in each paragraph. It says that your letter and resume have to have the same letterhead or heading. And it says that your letter sells your strengths and it matches your resume. So that's what you have to do. When you look at the fact that you can get 32 points for not having any spelling or grammar and for following all the directions, this seems like a very simple assignment. However, about a third to 33 to 40% of students every semester do not do well on the resume. And they don't do well because they do not take the time to do the directions, be very focused on details, and check spelling and grammar. So that's it. I just wanted to go over it with you. It's a very simple assignment, but you have to follow the directions. So please take the time to follow the directions. Please make sure you have your resume and letter in the correct format, and make sure you check your spelling and grammar errors. If you do all of that, then you will be sure to get a very good grade on your resume and letter.